My sheep hear my voice. We have two places to be this morning. One of them is on the east side of the temple on Solomon's porch, or portico. On Solomon's portico, facing the east, on the east side of the temple, where the sun, as it rises, strikes the temple for the first hours of the day. That's the traditional place where judgment happened. You remember that Solomon was known to be a wise judge. People brought their difficult, challenging positions to him for him to exercise judgment. Whose baby is this, for example, was one of the challenges where he exercised wise judgment. Jesus deliberately stands there, taking that position. So this location where we stand with him right now, the porch of Solomon, is very important. He is assuming the place of the judge, and he is not speaking words of judgment. He's speaking words of self-disclosure. I'm the good shepherd, and here is where the sheep and goats divide. Some people don't hear my voice, but those who know me and follow me, they hear my voice, he says. They hear my voice. Now, the next place I want you to come with me is to a porch in another place and another time. It's the porch of my cell in the convent of St. Margaret in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I spent a year as a missionary in Haiti after I retired in 2009, and I loved that year, and I know many of you here hold Haiti close and support Haiti in a number of different ways. Thank you on their behalf. I lived with the Sisters of St. Margaret, and I had a broad ministry all over the island, but particularly when I was in Port-au-Prince, I often was a witness to the huge amount of political instability, demonstrations, street parades, outraged citizens gathering in front of the presidential palace just down the street from where I was. They had to walk right past my porch. Chilton's portico off of the cell in the convent overlooked the Rue Pavée, the main street for demonstrations. I was on the compound with the cathedral and also with the music school and the elementary school, much of it now destroyed because of the 2010 earthquake. One Sunday afternoon, as often happened, people gathered to protest something. There was yelling and screaming as a group paraded down the Rue Pavée to demonstrate at the presidential palace. As happened often, people set fire to tires, to trash. As happened often, people looted the already fragile protection that storekeepers had. There was pushing and shoving. People were knocked down. And every once in a while, someone would fire shots in the air, so that I learned to keep my head down, sitting on my portico. That happened so often that my heart began to break. Why can't we live another way? Why can't people learn how to express themselves in ways that are not so damaging and violent? Why don't people listen to the concerns they have and find something to do? Why is there no other means but this violent outbreak? And as I felt sadder and sadder and sadder, I began to realize I needed to pray about this. So I prayed something like, oh God, this happens so often. Just when we think it's getting quieter, there's another outbreak of violence. There's something else, some other disturbance, some other upset, some other parade, some other demonstration. People are hurt. Property is damaged. The peace of the community is disrupted. And as I continued to pray, I realized something amazing. I was sitting with my left ear to the street, but I was sitting with my right ear to the courtyard where the music school had its plaza. And at the music school, the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders were rehearsing for evensong. And they were singing in a round, the familiar song. We all know it. Dona nobis pacem pacem. Do you know it? Grant us peace. Dona nobis pacem. And their little voices were all gathered into one beautiful, crystal clear, young sound, and they were singing it in a round perfectly. Haitians love music and love to sing, and they began singing louder and louder as they got more and more comfortable with the song. And they were singing it soon for just what felt like the sheer joy of it. And there I was sitting on my portico with my left ear listening to the street where damage and violence and shouting, and my right ear to the sound of the children singing, "Give us peace." And I realized in that stereophonic moment, one ear hearing the violence, one ear hearing the song of peace. I realized that that's what life is like for most of us, most of the time, in fact. One ear hears that which is violent, ugly, contentious, but the song in the other ear never goes away. By the grace of the one who occupied the portico of Solomon and said, "Hear my voice." In every moment, friends, our stereophonic existence is there. We can hear the painful, unhappy, violent, tragic theme of life, ebbing and flowing, or the voice of the shepherd whose children sing, "Give us peace." Dona nobis pacem. Sitting here on our porch this morning here in Rye, New York, as individuals stand up before us and make claims about what they believe, invite us to join them in refreshing promises that we make, we are listening to the voice of the shepherd. It's always a choice. Which ear we believe is listening to the shepherd's voice? Which ear is listening to that which will guide us? Which ear is hearing the real truth, the eternal truth, the constant truth, the truth that saves, the truth about life itself? It's a choice, isn't it? which ear we pay attention to. The ear this morning of each of us is listening to the formulas, the words, the promises, the prayers, the images that the Good Shepherd has left to the church. We are listening this morning to the voice of the Good Shepherd. May our ears constantly tune in to that voice. May our hearts know that voice to be stronger, truer, more enduring, and more powerful than whatever comes in the other ear. Now there is a shepherd that we could wrap our life around. Listen for that voice.